Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, due to the wonders of technology, I'm currently camping in a field in Worthy Farm for the Glastonbury Festival with limited access to tech. But I'm not a selfish guy, and just because I'm enjoying a digital detox, I'm not the kind of guy to forget about you crazy guys and dolls. So I've recorded an additional 7 episodes to ensure that you still get your podcast fix in my absence. And today's guest is Kline, who is a serial entrepreneur in digital technology and fashion. And he's also the co-founder of several online brands, including BarBend, and a managing partner at JAKK Media. And Kenny has helped grow BarBend from a small content site to one that is now the official media partner of USA Weightlifting and has raised $825,000 in seed funding. It's quite some story and a great guy too. So I'm excited to get him on and find out all about his journey and any valuable insights he can share with us about the world of tech startups. So buckle up and hold on tight so I can beam your ears all the way to New York so we can speak with Kenny Kline. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Kenny. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Hey, I'm Kenny Kline, and I'm the managing partner at JAKK Media. So JAKK Media is a brand that most people don't know. We're kind of a holding company for brands on the web. So our 4 biggest are BarBend, Sleepopolis, Security Baron, and Mattress Clarity. And we own and operate these brands, which we call our passion audiences. So we're really serving audiences on the web that are really engaged in something specific. So BarBend, for example, people that love weightlifting. Sleepopolis, people that want to sleep better and learn more about sleep. So we run these businesses, create the content. We run the YouTube channels, the social. We're based out of New York and Austin, just kind of delivering value to our readers as best we can.
And what really stands out for me about your story is that you've grown a number of different brands to more than 1 million online visitors each month. But these are very different brands. So can you tell me more about the diversity of these brands that you've created?
Yeah, so we're really internet marketers at heart, I think, and we follow the breadcrumbs of the internet to see where we should go and what we should deliver to readers. So the first site we started was a mattress review site, and because my partner and I, when we were starting the company, saw there was a ton of search online around mattresses, and the competition wasn't very strong. There weren't a lot of people out there blogging about mattresses, and so we saw an opportunity. And so we went out, learned everything we could about mattresses, ordered a bunch, personally tested them on video, written, and from there we grew and grew and grew it, and since have become leaders in the industry. And so all of our brands have really begun with that, where we identify an opportunity based on audiences that are seeking better content and people on the web that aren't delivering it, and we go and we fill that void. So it's not based on my personal interest or per se. We do hire people that have interest in the area. So the people that write for BarBend are guys that live and breathe weightlifting, and same for all of our other sites. But which market we go into is really based on internet research.
And this is a pretty big question, and I appreciate there probably isn't one specific answer, but what do you think your secret sauce is to building these successful brands that deliver so much traffic?
Yeah, so it's a really bad answer for you, but I think that patience and perseverance are really what has brought us success. So we've been running the company for 5 years now, a little over 5 years even, and we've grown pretty, there's always ups and downs, but we've grown pretty steadily over time. So there's no secret sauce where we go from 0 to 1 million in 3 months. It's our traffic is very SEO focused. So it's about creating a lot of really quality content and doing SEO stuff to make it rank. But like I said, it takes a long time to see that level of success. Now, we have gotten better at it, so things do go a little quicker with our new sites, but it still takes a year or two for us to see like any sort of substantial traction on a new site.
I'm so glad that you've said that and sending that message out there, because we are living in an age of instant gratification now. Everyone kind of expects that instant success. And I get it with people that ask me about podcasts, and it's exactly the same answer. It takes a year or 2 years just to establish yourself. But a lot of people just don't see that and want that instant success, don't they?
Yeah, they really do. And, I get all the ads like you all do on Facebook, where it's a guru who has instant success and his new store made, $50,000 in the first week and all this stuff. And no hate on those guys, but I've just never been able to do that. I've had a lot of success on the internet, but it's never come quick and easy for me. So definitely something that's true in the podcast world as well. We're starting to launch some of our podcasts for our brands now. And we have the same mindset where, let's release one a week for the next year and see where we are. And after that, we hope it's going to get us some traction. But the expectation that you instantly become a big success is really, and generally in entrepreneurship, I think kind of something that is not true. Unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of people selling the dream, but that's how they make their money. But you've helped grow BarBend from a small content site to one that is now the official media partner of the USA Weightlifting. And I think you've also raised $825,000 in seed funding. So can you tell me about that journey and also any lessons that you might have learned along the way?
Yeah, definitely. So BarBend, we started it just like we start any of our sites, and that one, the audience was so underserved that, and by that audience, I mean like really intense weightlifters looking for coverage of weightlifting events, things that you and I probably never would even know exist, but these people, live and breathe it. And so we started covering these events really as a news organization. And that one, we did get a lot of success early on in terms of traffic. By a lot, I mean, the first couple months we had maybe 100,000 visitors, which we thought was great. And we already had a few other sites going that were successful and profitable, and BarBend was on the way there, but we saw that the opportunity was much bigger for BarBend. And so we wanted to go out and raise capital so that we would really accelerate the process. So we did that, and it was a really excruciating process to go out and raise capital for any business, I imagine, but one that people don't really understand, where it's like, hey, we're doing this weightlifting site, and how are you going to make money, this and that. It's not always a clear path to success. So it was an excruciating process, one I didn't enjoy, and I hope to never raise money again, to be honest, because of that. Really went out and pounded the pavement and pitched, hundreds of times, and ended up with, a pretty good chunk of change. And we've done everything we can to be profitable without spending it all. We did that just because we wanted to avoid going out and raising any more money. But so we did that, and that allowed us to invest in really quality journalists to go out and do more coverage. And so early on, we caught the attention of USA Weightlifting just because they saw we were such authentic fans of the sport and really treating the space as a journalist and not as a kind of a casual blogger, which is more what people were reading before. So we forged a partnership with them, and that really helped us accelerate in the early days as well and give us a lot of credibility in the space. And from there, we really kept growing and moved to other types of content, doing product reviews in the space, doing more long form like how-to articles and videos. And from there, BarBend is hitting 2 to 2.5 million visitors a month, but we're really ambitious with that one. It has a lot more growth opportunity longer term than our other sites. And so that's one of the sites we're launching the podcast here in a few weeks. And we're hoping to take that site to 10 to 20 million visitors eventually. If we keep on this track and get a lot of our content really ranking and keep building the social profiles that we have for that site, then we think we can become a really substantial web property.
And like I said a few moments ago, these things do take time. But when it comes to scaling and growing your site to one that's partnering with major household names, how do you go about doing that? Is there anything you picked up along the way there, the kind of content that resonates with your readers? Well,
yeah, one, it just has to be really quality content. And that means that people in the space that are reading it need to think that this is the best stuff out there. So, I do weightlift, but I'm more of a casual weightlifter. I go a couple times a week just to get in the gym. I can't even edit the content because I don't know enough to make sure that everything's accurate and then it's resonating with our audience. So we have absolute experts writing the content, and that really showed. And when you're talking to sponsors or to organizations to partner with, usually they have people at their organization that can pick up that as well. So that's step one, is just get your content look really on point. Number two, we did invest in the brands, not a ton. We didn't go out and do hundreds of thousands of dollars on anything, but we spent a lot of time thinking about the logo, thinking about our voice, thinking about the site design and how everything flows together. And so early on, people would come to the site and just have a really great user experience, both in terms of the content and how the site flowed. To the point where people, we'd meet people at events and be like, "Oh, you guys have been around for what, 10 years now?" And we'd be like, "No, it's been 6 months." And so we just conveyed this sense of professionalism and quality that people associate with big brands. And so, and once they do that, they're more open to forging a partnership with you, whatever that may be. And the third point I'll say is USA Weightlifting never had a media partner before. And so that was our idea. And we kind of connected with them, and they did like our content, and we were the ones that proposed the idea. And for some, that may seem ludicrous because they didn't have one. And who are we, this, pretty young startup at the time, to partner with a really big organization, the biggest organization in the space? But we went out there and just asked, and the worst they can say is no. And in this case, they said yes. We've had a lot of people say no to stuff we've asked for, but the biggest thing is don't be too proud to get a lot of no's. Just go out there and keep trying, and keep putting yourself out there, and you're bound to at least garner some success, if not a lot of success.
And do you think that niche content is the key to all marketing efforts now? And if you do, why is it you think that's so important?
I think I absolutely do. And that is the basis of our company. So obviously I'm a little biased. Yeah. We're all about niche content. And I think we're at a time where it's become so easy to create content. Everyone with an iPhone and a computer can create a really nice experience. They can create a nice course, or they can create a nice blog post with designs, or this and that. And so, everybody's an expert in something, or at least passionate in something. And so I think the expectation of what you experience as a user has gone way, way up for any niche, even from 5 years ago. So, for example, one niche we looked at was the crafts niche, just knitters and crocheters and that type of thing. Really, really passionate audience, and there's millions of them in the U.S. and tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, across the world that are really passionate about knitting. 5 years ago, honestly, we looked at the space because the sites were just really poorly done from an internet perspective. I think the content was nice and people really loved what they were doing, but you go around, they're clunky, they're hard to use, they don't work on mobile. Like a lot of the big competitors in knitting were like that way. And this, fast forward 5 years from now, that's not the case. A lot of those sites have really dramatically improved their technology, as well as new bloggers entering the space, new companies entering the space that are really professional about it. And so when that translates to marketing, everyone's having a great experience. Everyone who sees a Facebook ad is expecting it to be targeted to something they really like, and they click through, and it's a really compelling message, and it's really specific to them and something they like. And so the standard for marketing, the standard for connecting with people has really gone up, just because there's so many people doing it well in all of these niches. And so if you go broad, if you're just kind of being generic, I think it's near impossible to stand out. And so we're at an interesting point where not only do you have to do niche content, but you have to do it well to some extent. It's not prohibitive, and not to say that you can't take your iPhone out and do it, but you can't just slap together an ugly, thoughtless website anymore and target a knitter and get an email address. Those days are kind of over.
And for people listening that are inspired by your journey and the kind of work that you're doing, are there any actionable tips that you could possibly offer and pass down to them?
Yeah, absolutely. I got started the same way a lot of people do. Is I just wanted to fire my boss and build my own company and kind of not answer to anybody. So my goal was just to replace my income at the time, and I did it as a side job. So I had a wife at the time, young family, and so after work I went home and I just kind of started blogging a little bit and programming. And over the course of about a year and a half, I was able to get rid of my daytime job and focus on my full-time job. And I've advised a number of people on that path. It sounds easy, like, oh, a year and a half and you're set, you're free. But it's a really tough year and a half where you're essentially working around the clock. I do my daytime job and then I come home and do my other job. And so it's a lot of work, but it is attainable. And the thing that kept me going was the whether it was naivety or not, was just I felt like it was going to be successful at some point. And so I was able to achieve it with a lot of work. But again, I'll go back to patience and persistence and drive. It's really about consistently delivering that work ethic. We say this in BarBend a lot, where if you go in the gym and you work out really intensely for 2 months and then you stop because you get tired, in 6 months, your fitness is going to be essentially the same. If you go in the gym even 2-3 days a week for 2 years, you're going to see a total body transformation, even if you're not an expert in fitness. Even just going in and doing it and progressing and learning over a longer period of time is absolutely true in the gym, and it's even more true in entrepreneurship, I think, where if you can find something that you're passionate about, a niche that you really like, where you can deliver content and value. If you keep at it over time, I think that there's still plenty of opportunity out there to be successful and have a great business, whether it's on the side or your full-time thing eventually.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I started exactly the same as IT guy in a corporate office by day, and then doing the writing gig by night from 7 till midnight. And I think I was doing it for 2 years. And like you say, it sounds easy enough, but it is a long 2 years of not going out, not just sat there binging on Netflix or playing video games. It's hard work.
It really is, yeah.
So what have you found to be the most challenging task in your business along the way?
We've gone through multiple stages of the business. So early days, it was just me and my partner sitting there pounding out long hours, and still really trying to discover the business model and how everything worked. We weren't nearly as skilled at the internet as we are now. And so we've learned a lot since then. But it was an exciting time. It's fun, and you're so nimble and excited that those days, as tough as they were and as uncertain as they were, felt like a lot of fun. And as we've grown, now we have 30 people on our team, and there's totally new challenges. I spend most of my days kind of going out and doing bigger deals and managing the team. And I think as a bootstrap business, we don't really have official mentors or investors that are looking over our shoulders. So just as we've grown, and we grew pretty quickly, the last 2 years we went from just a couple employees to 30. We didn't make any dire mistakes, I think, but just building that team and how we do it and how we treat those people is something I hadn't done before. And so thinking a lot about it and learning a lot has been a great challenge, a challenge that I've enjoyed and been happy to do, but it's also been a lot of, there's been a lot of, uncertainty around how to approach everything. And I think finally, after some time, we've done a good job of listening and hearing what's valuable to our employees in terms of their experience and the work that they do, but also we've found outside sources and mentors and people that have done it before that give us great advice as well on how to handle any type of situation. So maybe not that interesting an answer, but just kind of how to manage people and how to create an environment where people can do their best work and be happy and have good lives has been an interesting challenge, I think.
And of course, none of us are able to achieve any amount of success without a little help along the way. So a question I've got to ask is there a particular person that you're grateful towards who helped you get to where you are now? If you look back, is there one or a couple of people that stand out?
Yeah, definitely. I have so many people in my life that have really helped me along the way. my wife is certainly one who's endured a lot of those long nights and given me the support in my down moments. But and her father, my father-in-law, is a very successful business owner. Has started multiple business and grown them to be very large. And so whenever I have a business question, and he doesn't really, he's pretty savvy on the internet, but he doesn't really know anything specifically about what I do. But when it comes to those general business questions, even like, I asked him, how do you deal with the stress of it all some days? Basic stuff like that. He's the one I turn to because he's done it before, and he's just a wonderful teacher and presence in my life and support in that way. So just finding, even if they don't, he can't offer me strategic advice on our business, or he can't tell me which niche to go into next or anything like that, but he has offered me some great kind of general business advice that has been really valuable to me along the way.
Fantastic. And for anyone listening that wants to find out more information, could you point them in the direction of your website online, and also a way of contacting yourself or a member of your team if they are left with any additional questions?
Yeah, definitely. So our website is jakk.media, jakk.media. And to message me, you can find me on LinkedIn, Kenny Kline, or on Twitter at ThisBeKenny.
Well, a huge thank you for coming on today. There's so much I've learned, and I'm personally going to be taking away from our conversation today. But the two things that really stand out, especially in a world where everybody's selling the dream of get rich next year or leave your job tomorrow, is perseverance and patience. I think that's such a valuable takeaway for everyone listening to walk away with today. But more than anything, just a big thank you for taking the time to come and speak with me today. Thanks, Kenny.
Thank you so much.
Kenny really raised some interesting points today and offered so much value. I loved his story of how, as a founder, he grew two very different online brands and grew them to more than 1 million online visitors a month each. That's quite something in itself. And there's also so much value to other startup founders listening, such as how to grow your site to one that partners with major household names, and why niche content is the key to all marketing efforts here in 2019. As always, I'd love to hear from you. Now, yes, I'm currently sat in a tent wondering, should I see Jeff Goldblum, Fatboy Slim, Baby Metal, or Idris Elba spinning the wheels of steel? But I promise, I am going to save a little mobile juice to reply to your emails and tweets. So please, email me techblogwriter@outlook.com, tweet me at Neil C. Hughes. You can also get me on LinkedIn and Instagram at Neil C. Hughes. And you can find all that and so much more over on my website at techblogwriter.co.uk. So all that's left to say is a big thank you to Kenny Kline for taking the time to come and speak with me today, and an even bigger thank you to each and every one of you that listen to this podcast every day. That really, really does mean a lot to me. It goes a long way. So big thank you for listening, and until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.